Hold on, let me go ahead and first I'm going to share it on Twitter. I'm just going to retweet this. Let's see. There we go. Man, they be going in on me on Twitter.
They don't give you no breaks, man. I told you.
I'll be talking. I'll be carrying. I don't care. It used to bother me a little bit, but I don't care. I just be.
What's the worst? Yeah,
I just keep it going, man.
You know, it is what it is, man. People gonna have they, you know what I'm saying, their opinions. You gonna have yours, you know. I just let them, you know, whatever. You know, it is what it is. You know, they need to hear the truth.
Okay, cool. Hold on. Let me just find a way to share this. I'm trying to share it on, let's see, post. Okay, cool. Share. I'm gonna try to share it in these Falcon groups. I know they be going in.
Of course.
Okay, cool. Sharing in the Falcon groups. And that's pretty much all of them. Oh, here we go. All right, you let me know when you're ready, man.
I'm ready.
All right. Jansen Harris here with the Final Play on the Just Good Network. Joining me live is Armani Newsome. Man, I'm glad we're getting together to do this, man.
Hey, finally, man. It's been a while, man. I'm glad we were able to get on the stream. Let's get it.
Absolutely. The first time I had a bunch of fun. And let's get right to it, man. Let's talk about this fourth pick. Everybody got their theory. Some people want the Falcons to trade back, go defense, go defensive line. I've heard everything, literally every position on that defense besides safety, some people are saying. And then you have on the offensive side of the ball, some people want the Falcons to go tight end with the fourth pick. Some people want the Falcons to go quarterback. Armani, what is your thought process right now? What should the Falcons do with that fourth pick?
Okay, so for me, I would say since you already have a new regime in here, you fired the last head coach, last GM, you got a new GM and a new head coach. So once you start changing a lot of things around, you might as well, you know, if you're going to start changing around the front office, you might as well start changing around personnel. You know, and this is no knock against Matt Ryan or anybody else, but if I'm the GM, I'm going to get a quarterback. You know, it's just, well, I'm never probably going to pick this high again. You know, I might as well go get one of the 4 best quarterbacks that I can get, you know, because Matt Ryan isn't getting any older. We just saw the down spiral Drew Brees just went through and went through with New Orleans. So, you know, the older these guys get, it doesn't get better. Their play doesn't get better. It actually gets progressively worse. So, you know, with that being said, you know, when Matt Ryan turning 36 this year, he has maybe a few more years left in him. We just restructured his contract to make more room to sign more players, but you get a young guy in here, man, that can probably come in here and sit behind Matt Ryan and learn. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know, if the GM and the head coach decides to do that, there shouldn't be a problem. You know, from my perspective, because you know we haven't. I mean, what do we have left to lose? You have three straight losing seasons.
Mm-hmm.
You're not getting any better. You you get rid of the front office and bring a new front office in. So it's time to change. Just go ahead and start changing around everything. Start thinking about what you have to do for the future. You know, I understand that Arthur Blank is right now is in win now mode, but you know, it's been 13 years and you haven't won anything. So there's the definition of insanity. You keep doing the same thing, you're gonna keep getting the same results. So with the fourth pick, I think we should go either we should go quarterback or you know, if your guy isn't there for some reason, you wanted Trevor Lawrence, not Trevor Lawrence, excuse me. You wanted Justin Fields, or you wanted a Trey Lance type of guy. If he's not there, if one of those guys aren't there, and they're your guys, go ahead and pick up possibly a Kyle Pitts. You know, so to give more weapons for Matt Ryan. You know, because he is getting older, he can't make the plays that he probably could used to make. So you might as well go ahead and start making the offense easier for him. But first things first is the quarterback. If not, go Kyle Pitts.
Absolutely. Look, I made a video the other day, and I'm going to stick to my story. Justin Fields, the Clemson game last year, I point to that one where he got beat up, but he stood there. He was a leader. He played for his team. He played hard. The 6 touchdowns to the 1 interception, that impressed me. I was sold on it. You got the Georgia kid from Kennesaw State. Look, to me, I know a lot of information has come out. Oh, he's not a leader. He's not this. He may be lazy. Ryan Day is head coach. I focused on what he said. And, of course, he's going to say some good things about him. But he showed you guys when the Big Ten didn't want to play football, they were scared of COVID, and I don't blame them. I'm not going to sit here and act like COVID's not a big deal. A bunch of people died. He was on the forefront wanting to play football. And I think he's going to have that chip on his shoulder, too, because you look at a guy who, remember what the experts, quote unquote, were saying? Remember they were saying he was the second best guy and it was a lock, and now they flipped the story. So I think, for me, I think they get the Georgia kid, Justin Fields. I understand Matt Ryan has been productive in the past. He was productive last year. He was productive in 2019, but that's not good enough to me. I hold him accountable. I think he needs to be better. The decision-making needs to be better. He needs to be a better leader late in games. Some of that's on him. I just can't put it all on the defense, all on the offensive line. It's always somebody, all on Cutter. I just can't use that excuse anymore. Now, back to that fourth pick. If it's not him and Justin Fields, who I believe they're going to go with, I think they go with Trey Lance. Trey Lance, phenomenal. That 2019 season, I was impressed. 28 touchdowns, no picks, the 14 touchdowns, rushing, over 1,000 yards on the ground as well, too. And I know it's a small school, but I'm just impressed. I think he's a leader, too. I think the Falcons are going to take a hard look at that quarterback position with the number 4 pick. But let me tell you something about how I feel about Kyle Pitts. Do I believe he's great? Yes. But here's my thing, man. I feel like a lot of the guys in the local media, they're kind of frauds a bit, because I remember there was a couple guys out here nationally who were saying, look, the Falcons or other teams at the top of the draft should go Kyle Pitts, and people laughed at it. People laughed, no way. Remember, everybody was talking about Sewell. And I'm okay. He's my third guy. Everybody was talking about Sewell, right? Remember that? Yeah. But now it's Kyle Pitts. Everybody's pretending in Atlanta, these article writers and a lot of these radio guys. And if your feelings are hurt by it, oh, well. But a lot of you guys were not on that Kyle Pitts train. So I think people need to stick to their story. I keep saying it. If the Falcons move back, cool, I own up to it. But with the 4th pick, they're going to get their leader. They're going to get their quarterback of the future. Let's talk about Dante Fowler Jr., and he's 26 years old. I was disappointed by the year he had last year. I know we blamed it on injuries, but if you remember, prior to the season, he was talking a big talk. Wanted Michael Strahan's record, all this good stuff. He was phenomenal with the Rams, 11.5 sacks in 2019, but not so productive with the Falcons last year, 3 sacks. To me, the pressure is on him. The pressure is on Matt Ryan. To me, he's number 1 on that list, though. He needs to perform. What are your expectations for Dante Fowler Jr.?
Okay, so for Dante Fowler, I'm pretty sure that, there's, been a lot of speculation regarding him. But, he's also coming off an injury. But with the system that we're about to put into place, Dean Pease, he's been Super Bowl champion, defensive guru type of guy, knows what he's doing type of dude. So been around the game for God knows how long. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, so with that being said, I expect Dante Fowler to have a leap back year. I know a lot of pressure is on him, just like it is everybody else, Matt Ryan, Julio, all those guys, all the veterans, are pressures on them. But for Dante Fowler to come in here and have the season he had last year is, it's unacceptable. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt. First year here, first year under new coach, new city, new whatever. But, at this point in time, like Arthur said, he's in win now mode. So right now he has to be productive on the defensive side of the ball. You got to get back to that 2019 season when he had 11.5 sacks. And hopefully with the scheme that Dean Pease is about to put into play, he said we're going to send guys everywhere. So that should have plenty opportunity for him to get the sacks. So, with that being said, I expect for us to still draft pass rusher in later rounds, to kind of help stabilize it a little bit. But, it's a lot of pressure on these guys, especially on, like you said, there's a lot of pressure on Matt Ryan too. And I'm going to touch on that a little bit, not Matt Ryan or not to knock anybody, but, a lot of these fans, they're loyal to the players.
Oh, we're definitely going to get to that. Armani, we're going to get to that. Let me get my breakdown on Dante Fowler Jr. We'll go into Hayden Hurst, and we'll get to the Matt Ryan thing. Definitely going to ask you about that because I love your take on that. But here's the thing for Dante Fowler Jr. If you do not perform this year, because remember, they restructured your deal, basically saying, in a way, We don't have confidence in you. We don't believe you're one of those top guys. Seriously, that's what that means to me. And I hope he takes offense to what I'm saying or others are saying, because that's just facts, bro. But look at the numbers, though. If he gets 9 sacks, that's $3 extra million in your pocket. So let's talk money. You get 11 sacks, that's $4 million. So go for that $4. Go for that extra $4 million, Dante Fowler Jr., because DPs, I believe the system will help them. They're going to be blitzing everywhere. I'm high on that. Pease, there's a lot of pressure on him, too. He's been doing a lot of talking, a lot of sticking his chest out. So I think that it'll help the 26-year-old. But if you do not perform, Dante Fowler Jr., if you do not perform, you'll be known as a guy who benefited from playing with Aaron Donald. That's all. He has to have a big year. It is imperative. It's a must. He has a big year. Armani, let's talk about Hayden Hurst. I saw a tweet. People were talking about Kyle Pitts getting drafted at number 4, rightfully so. Hayden Hurst kind of took offense to it. The year he had last year, 56 catches, 571 receiving yards, 6 touchdowns. That's not bad. I would say, it's pretty good. Not great, but pretty good. He was saying, hey, just use me more. What are your thoughts on Hayden Hurst?
So with that, of course, anybody would feel some type of way. They're just like, well, we just traded for this guy. Y'all just traded for me, and y'all trying to go ahead and bring somebody else in. But honestly, he should feel a little bit of pressure, but not too much, because you got to think about it. Arthur Smith uses a 2 tight end set anyway. He loves to use the tight ends. That's his bread and butter, O-line and tight ends. So, I think that even if you do go Kyle Pitts, you have mismatches all over the field. You got Julio, Ridley, now you got Kyle Pitts and Hayden Hurst. Man, it's just a mismatch everywhere. So, even if you do that, Hayden Hurst should eat. He should still eat, even without Kyle Pitts. You still got Calvin Ridley and Julio Jones. That's pressure already. As a defensive coordinator, you're like, man, I'm sitting here going through here like, I gotta contain Julio. If he's healthy, I gotta contain Calvin Ridley. He's a star. Now, oh wow, now they got Hayden Hurst, and then if you add in somebody like a Kyle Pitts, oh man, it's a nightmare to try to figure out. But I think he's gonna have a big bounce back here, only because Arthur Smith is a tight end guy. He utilizes his tight ends no matter what.
Okay, here's my take on it, man. Let's say they draft Kyle Pitts at number 4, like you were saying, with Hayden Hurst, Kyle Pitts, Calvin Ridley, and let's just assume Julio Jones is healthy the rest of the whole season. Let's assume there's no injury problems. And Matt Ryan, who people are trying to convince me is better than what I say. Okay, let's just say all that's true. I expect the playoffs. I don't want any excuses. There is no excuses.
No excuses.
Year one, this team needs to be in the playoffs. Matt Ryan needs to be the second best quarterback in that division. I don't care what nobody says. To me, there's a debate. I could easily say Sam will come in there with the talent around him and be the second best quarterback in the division, which he shouldn't. And I don't even consider myself a Matt Ryan hater. I made videos when Tom Brady first got to the NFC South. I said, look, I think Matt Ryan is going to be better than Tom Brady, and Matt Ryan is going to be better than Drew Brees. And that was a dumb statement when I look back at it. So I was wrong. This season, again, if they get Pitts at number 4, Terry Fontenot, that's your inaugural pick. You feel me? You go with Pitts. I expect playoffs. I don't really care what these fans or these radio guys have to say. It's a must. They must go to the playoffs, Armani.
Playoffs are bust. That's
absolutely. And let's go right into the expectations for the Falcons. What are your expectations for the Falcons and Matt Ryan? Because I know you wanted to touch on Matt Ryan. What are your expectations?
So Again, man, I expect a quick turnaround, just like, Arthur and Terry expects. When you look at the roster, especially on the offensive side, we still have holes that we have to fill on defense. But, when you look at this roster on offense, if you can go and get you a running back, which we signed one already, you're looking at the roster, you're like, how am I not making the playoffs? How am I not making the playoffs? Then when last year, when Dan Quinn got fired, we went from, I think, last in defense to like 19. So looking at the total landscape of everything, we should make the playoffs. If Matt Ryan is who he says he is, he's gonna be back to MVP Matt Ryan, in my opinion. If people are saying that who he says he is, they always bring out the stats, but can we win? We gotta be able to win. And that's just the media landscape that we're in right now. When you think about winning, you think about the quarterback. He's the leader of the team, or supposed to be the leader of the team. Can Matt Ryan finally break through and get this city a championship? And that's the biggest question about this whole shebang. You said in your video he's probably not going to win us a championship, and I'm kind of leaning towards that too, only because of the fact that we've already had some of his best years already. Man is aging; he's not getting any better. So with that being said, I think that it should be a win now type of thing. He has to win now to prove all these fans that's doubting him wrong, including me and you. And I'll go and say, if he proves me wrong, I'll be the first one to say Matt proved me wrong. I have no problem with that, because when Matt does good, the Falcons do good, and that's another thing with the fans. I mean, I'm loyal to the logo. These players are gonna come and go. They come and go all the time. We have to do what's best for the team, not what's best for Matt Ryan, not what's best for Julio Jones, not what's best for Calvin Ridley. We have to do what's best for the team. At the end of the day, we have to contribute. Arthur and Terry, they put a product out on the field. You have to fill those seats in that new dome and that new Mercedes-Benz on that you just built. So in order to do that, you have to be able to win and do it every year, no matter what. So, with that being said, I hope Matt Ryan is able to come back, and get us back to the promised land. If not, you know what to do.
Yeah. Yep, and to reiterate, with the 17-game season, I believe, and if they get Kyle Pitts, this should be a 35 touchdowns, less than 10 interception season for Matt Ryan. If he's truly great, if this is 2018 Matt Ryan, then tell me how great he is. I won't say anything. When Matt Ryan was great in 2018, that video is coming out soon, by the way, people. When he was great in 2018, he was robbed by the national media. He didn't get any respect. Nobody cared outside of Atlanta. He was great. When you look back at the film, when you look at the numbers he had, he was great. Yeah. There's no denying that. 2016, when he won the MVP and what he was able to do in that NFC Championship game, Matt Ryan was great. That's what giving him his praise. But you're not going to – they can't sit here and tell me 2020 and 2019 were the best of seasons. It just wasn't. I expected more from the captain, the commander-in-chief, a guy who's capable of giving us 2018. So I will say this. The offensive line needs to play better, yes. Matt Ryan needs to play better, yes. This defense needs to show up. And Dante Fowler Jr., please do something. Please. Yeah. He needs to do something. I'm really getting tired. He really needs to do something. I'm like, wow. I was watching the games and they're like, dude, you're not making any plays. You're not making any play. I'm sorry. You know what I mean? People get upset. This fan base, they get upset. Oh, why is he talking about? Because you're not performing. It's that simple. You feel me? If you perform, people are going to talk well about you. They're going to talk good about you. You feel me? When you perform. When you don't perform, they talk bad about you. And that's just what it is, man. And look, I think this Falcons team, I'm really excited about that fourth pick, man, because back to that fourth pick, it's just, to me, anything can happen. I'm saying quarterback. I'm hoping on quarterback. I want a new culture in Atlanta, but anything can happen, man. And that's the beauty about it. You still there, Armani? Hello? I guess we lost Armani. Armani Newsome, everybody. Go follow him on all social media platforms. We're talking about the draft. Look, more videos are coming this week. I'm Jansen Harris with the Final Play on the Just Good Network. I want to give a special shout out to the GGC Game Room. They're sponsoring us and also Your Future Media. I'm Jansen Harris with the Final Play on the Just Good Network.